Hello, my name is Wayne Helborn, and I'm about to give a position and a lecture on why manifesting can prove that there is a life after this life, and why dying is very safe. So, the premise is that we live in a mental universe, and I'm going to argue and make the position that memory is external from brain body as actual block universe events that we simultaneously attune to. We are instantly is much faster than the speed of light. We are instantly entangled with your graduation. So if you are remembering your graduation, it's because you're instantly entangled with that moment in what we perceive of as a separate moment in time. And so you can view yourself as opposed to it being something that comes to you in your brain. So the first thing you have to understand about spirituality is that memory isn't brain related, and that's why dying is safe, essentially. But you manifest to learn that if mind body is external, then it's logical that we are internal to mind, and that's why we're in a dream, and that is why positive thinking works, and that is why manifesting works, is because what we see around us is just a very realistic dream that we share, a collective, not solo solipsism. Anyways, here's my lecture on why manifesting proves you live an afterlife. I'm reading from now on. Okay, so dream logic, why the universe is a shared simulation of expectation. A mental model of reality, or for those that are familiar with what I teach, why tooth fairies get rescued. Memory is not in the brain because the brain is all in the mind. Let us begin with the assertion that if it doesn't get kicked out of a psychology department, certainly gets you ignored at the neuroscience table. The brain is not the source of memory. It is a transceiver. That's it. In a relativistic block universe, Einstein's own gift to temporal ontology, all past events, past, present, and future, exist eternally. Not metaphorically, not in some way, literally. So if all your memories still exist in space-time, you are not necessarily storing them. You could be more navigating to them. So we've already shown the external memory hypothesis, that memory is block universe events, simultaneous block universe that we attune to. So the external memory hypothesis says the brain is a phase tuning antenna. Memory is accessed, not retrieved. Consciousness is non-local and trajectory-based. Therefore, if mind is not in the brain, but the brain is in the mind, then we are not inside bodies, we are inside consciousness. We are avatars, we are dream creatures, we are personifications. We are personifications in because the giant imagination we share is like a dream metaphor. You can't have a simultaneous simulation. What we were in had to have been created by us from within. Because of its simultaneity, we know that any simulation hypothesis is not logical or reasonable. So life is not a simulation, it's a shared dream. It's a shared dream, and we're all in it together. Shared dream theory and expectation engine. Imagine a dream. You're falling. The moment fear grips you, poof, a parachute appears. Why? Because your expectation tuned the unfolding logic of the landscape. Your thoughts steered the outcome. You knew you needed a parachute and it appears. That is precisely how the mental universe functions. But instead of lucid dreams within one skull, we're looking at a co-dream simulation in which the consensus reality reflects collective expectation. Not probability. There is no measurement problem. Not probability. Expectation. Faith runs the caboodle. Expectation, faith runs the caboodle, causes all quantum collapses, even into the perceived past. There's retrocausality, but that's logical in a universe void of time. Just because we don't understand it doesn't make it untrue. We think brain memory seems... We think it seems obvious that the memories are in the brain, but just because something seems obvious doesn't make it true. And once you stop assuming consciousness is in the brain, once you realize it's external, or it's very logical and reasonable that you're entangled with your 5th birthday party and your mind is just, and I'm pointing at my brain when I say mind, but your mind is just entangled with that moment. In your personification, you are the Akashic Records. But anyways. Probability describes the landscape. Expectation moves the mountain. This is the flaw of Copenhagen interpretation. It assumes physicalism as a given and limits collapse to chance. It forgets the observer isn't a passive statistician, but an active composer. Just as in dreams, your expectations need retrocausal adjustments to ensure emotional or narrative resolution. The Tooth Fairy story is not a joke. It is a case study in faith-based retrocausality. Just like in Schrodinger's cat can be expanded into Wigner's friend, it is the expectation of the scientist in the room. If he's a positive thinker, the cat will turn out alive. If the physicist was a negative thinker, the cat would come out dead, because that is how expectation or faith influence our reality and collapse the quantum outcomes of everything. And we can expand that to Wigner's friend to explain the entire universe, which I've been teaching 4 books deep now. The Tooth Fairy and Wigner's cat. I keep teaching this, but for the people that are manifesting, they might be watching this video just because they want to know how manifesting can prove that they have an afterlife. The Tooth Fairy and Wigner's cat. The drowning Tooth Fairy prays with full belief, not wishful thinking, expectation. And what happens? 3 days ago, in the past, a cruise ship alters its course. A massive 3,000 passenger cruise ship. All slightly nudge into place a slightly 2 degrees movement. In a block universe, this is not science fiction, it's geometry. The Tooth Fairy's expectation selects a trajectory through space-time consistent with the rescue thought form. In that sense, he became Wigner's friend. He is the supervising scientist collapsing the cruise ship into his own expectation. He prays now for the Tooth Fairy to change, for save him, and reality edits then the past, and that might sound far out to some people, but it's how reality works. There is such a thing as retrocausality. That's what a positron is. A positron is an electron going backwards in time, and then it's called a positron, and it's got the reverse. Same electric charge, but opposite electric charge of the same. So, but what if collapses? It's just aligns you with a world line that's already matches what your faith is. Our universe is so blessed if you understood what you are and how blessed it is. Because I'm not just saying that we create our reality, but I mean like the past can change to bring us our desires. And if we really understood reality, like we have the knowledge that death isn't to be feared, like we're here to be reasons. Don't, like, people shouldn't be going like jumping off cliffs because they understand there's an afterlife. They should understand that we're here for reasons that our future selves per se assigned us to. So manifestation is a proof of the mental universe. This brings us to the law of attraction. It's dismissed by academics as pseudoscience stuff, fluff, but it is a insightful grasp at the expect-driven block universe. You see that we're in a universe that can change beyond physical, what we would expect to see in a physical universe. Like, your positivity shouldn't allow you to win the game, etc. But anyways, Oprah calls it manifesting. Napoleon Hill calls it thinking and growing rich. The Stoics call it prohairesis. Jesus called it ask and it shall be given. Every practitioner is saying the same thing. Your expectation, when sufficiently charged, aligns you with realities in which those expectations are fulfilled. If the universe is mental and energy follows thought, as it always has in dreams, then reality is not probabilistic, it is a narrative, and every moment you think is a vote in the cosmic writer's room. Those who manifest effectively are not magicians. They are navigators with better resonance, fidelity. They expect, not hope. Expect, not hope. And just like in a dream, the most effective trick is belief so strong it alters the storyboard of your own past. Just remember your path has a direction. The collective consciousness and the mechanics of miracles I've spoken of in countless books. So let's expand this to religious narratives, which I've also talked about in all the books. But I mean, for the sake of this, in Christianity, Jesus heals not by violating physics, but by accessing timelines where the person was already healed. Your faith has made you whole. Not his magic, theirs. Islam, the dua, supplication, invokes the divine, but it is expectation, belief that realigns the decree. Hinduism, karma is trajectory. Devotion, bhakti, intense focus can override karma. A user override of the default script. It's what we do when we manifest. Buddhism. Nirvana is realization that the dream itself is an illusion, and by ceasing to crave, one stops interacting with the illusion. You transcend the script entirely. Judaism. God hardens the Pharaoh's heart. The vibration. Expectation determines narrative sequences, not randomness, not chance. Even the New Age, the secret, vibrations, synchronicities. Some are clumsy, but they're not wrong. They all imply the same model. You are the co-author of the dream, and the dream responds to intentional narrative logic, not to probabilities. There is no measurement problem. In math, the block universe is a 4D construct. In this framework, a memory is just your light cone in physics reassessing the past. Schrodinger's cat is both dead and alive until expectation writes the version from the future. Expectation. Wigner's friend shows the observer's mind is not inside space-time, it collapses it. So study Wigner's friend and Schrodinger's cat, but instead of having probabilities weigh the outcome of the experiment as your own thought experiment, what if expectations ruled the day as is truth? That I'm the only one that teaches, and I'm the only one that's currently teaching the external memory hypothesis is the block universe, as memory is the block universe, actual events that you're actually tuning into your actual graduation. Because if your mind can access your graduation as easily as Captain Kirk and Spock in a 1981 DeLorean, then you don't need a brain to store any memory. Why would you need a brain to store redundant memories why would you need a brain to store a single license plate number if you're looking at them all forever and ever? Because you can simply just tune into those moments. So brain memory is technically redundant. You may say, but this sounds subjective. Of course it does, because you're inside a mind. Not your mind, the mind of all. The meat you wear is not a library. It's not even a lens. And the way they prove this is not with further scans or more functional MRI thinking. It's manifesting the absurd and noticing events, energy following all thoughts surrounding you without confirmation bias. When things happen when manifesting, and you have to manifest enough to realize that many things that we manifest won't make linear time sense. So if you manifest, and you shouldn't be watching this video if you don't, but if you manifest, pay attention. Many things that you manifest won't make linear time sense. And that's actually how I started studying the physics, is I wanted to understand that aspect of it. And that's why I'm the first one to tell you that memory is external from the brain as simultaneous block universe events. And if you see some of my other deeper stuff, I'll tell you that you evolved into God yesterday, that you had to be a plant to learn breathing, that you had to be a fish to learn movement, that you had to be a crab to learn how to grab and learn opposable thumbs, because of our simultaneity in the block universe. Our past selves seem to have ability to glimpse what they could be if they undergo the lessons of crabdom, and they learn how to grab. They're a crab to learn how to grab. And you were a fish to learn how to move, and now you drive a shiny bipedal human avatar. And a big whoop, you're going to go in a blessed afterlife. Afterlives are always blessed, mostly. And it's the reincarnation that you have to face in a teleological way if you want to progress to what you can be. So, you have a choice, you could either stop or move on or go, but generally you want to move on. And so you want to progress from lifetime to lifetime. So it's not you per se that sort of recommends the future lifetimes. It's the future you, your future most godly you, sort of gives input into your lifetimes that you need to live to reach your destination, even from a future point of view, because the past can change, and they're in on that. And there's different from physics. I call this reality, because I call the dream state reality, because technically everyone that calls realism real is they're assuming that memories are brain related. And there's no evidence of brain's memory. They haven't proven where it is or how it functions. They'll say, neural plasticity is measured at this. It's not hardened at all. But they don't know how memories work. They claim, it could work this way, could work that way. Now you have Sir Roger Penrose say, maybe in Hammeroff saying, it might be in hiding a microtubule somewhere. But really, it's instantly entangled with our past. It's not to do with the microtubule. It's to do with they're starting to use the words entanglement. But entanglement just won the Nobel Prize in Physics in 2022. Everybody's just hearing that word for the first time or whatever. Well, everyone knew Einstein's spooky action at a distance. I've been trying to say it's real forever because it would explain what I've been seeing, what I can retroactively know from manifesting. If the past can change, then there's got to be mechanisms in physics to allow for that rationally. So, I'm Wayne Hellborn. This is why manifesting proves that dying is safe, because if we are in a dream format, then dying is just waking up elsewhere, and it's not. The immediate afterlife is blessed, and it's lengthy. It can be lengthy. And just think, if you do die, just think, hire yourself now, thank you, thank you. Hire yourself now, thank you, thank you. Gratitude is the most obvious hack to love. Hire yourself now, thank you, thank you. Hire yourself now, thank you, thank you. Just keep that up, and whatever happens in the afterlife, it's to each their own. But you don't have to get off at the first stop. You do have to, once you commit to something, then you're at that stop. But you don't have to take your time in the afterlife. Be wise. Just hire yourself now, thank you, thank you. Hire yourself now, thank you, thank you. Hire yourself now, thank you, thank you. And trust that you're an old soul, and that you've been there enough times to know better. So, you can learn that you don't need me to understand that you're living the dream right now. because you can manifest, and that can only be explained by if we're internal to mind. And that, so if we're tuning into the actual events, which makes more sense, there's more science. Like biology isn't really science, physics is. So if we can tune into the actual events that are occurring around us, and including all past events, then our mind is just a radio. It's not like, it doesn't hold the symphony. It just tunes into that station and it can access the past. So you can learn that we are in a dream by manifesting. And when you manifest, you should pay attention, because many things that you manifest won't make linear time sense. I suggest keeping manifesting simple, because with every desire comes attached worry, which is the root of all evil in the mental universe. And I suggest the middle way, and I suggest Taoism is probably something I sort of live by, but I also know that I'm on a bit of a quest to put this sort of knowledge that I'm talking. I have some probably quotes that you're probably going, oh, that makes sense, or whatever, because I practice these quotes into a sutra. Is teaching something in the lowest number of sentences or words. So I've always tried to, out of sheer laziness, I try and teach what I have to teach in the shortest number of words. So I try and simplify everything. And like recently, I've come to understand a lot of people seem to have a hard time understanding that the block universe, past, present, and future, always exists. And even though like we've proven the twin paradox and time dilation is possible and stuff like that, if you say like, oh, there's could be a 40-year-old twin beside a 60-year-old twin, people don't like put that together, that they are simultaneously in time, and the implications of that are huge. And a simultaneous universe immediately gets rid of the scientific method also. And if death is a waking up process from a common dream, that vindicates all religions, and it makes atheism sort of the silly, foolish religion based on a religion of brain memory, which is an assumption based on the assumption of separateness to begin with. So won't it be? I'm Wayne Hilborn. This is why manifesting proves that you are immortal. Be blessed. Well, I should add that your personification is forever, because you can never blend back into an all. You can never, like, you can't leave your personification behind. You are the Akashic record of you. So you are an important function, and nothing is going to happen upon death that is going to alter you. You're not even going to get your old memories from previous lives right away, but you're going to continue on as you. You are now. That is the form that you will have when you die. Death is safe. It is just waking up somewhere else. You don't get absorbed, because really what you are is so important, because you are not just your one lifetime. You are like thousands of lifetimes in all of nature. That's like I said, you're a crab to learn how to grab, and like you've had thousands of moms. You've had whatever, Okay, be blessed.